We've got the last round of rain and snow hitting California as we get ready for big Thanksgiving travel impacts. I'm ABC 10 Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods, and it has been a tiring week for so many people dealing with flooding issues, snow as well. Impacts continue for this year. We've got these in-depth forecasts continuing as we dig deeper into some pretty big travel periods. ABC 10 Plus is where you can find it live, local, and always on with those extended weather forecasts as well as our weather specials. Make sure you download it now. As far as what we're seeing in the Sierra, this was a little bit earlier on our Monday at Donner. You can see kind of a hazy view out there. We've been going back and forth between rain and snow along I-80 as well as Highway 50 at Echo. That's going to be just around that pass there as you round the corner and get ready to see the beautiful vista of Lake Tahoe. At Twin Bridges, also, we were seeing periods of chain controls in the higher elevations. At King Vale, the headlights just kind of glistening on the roads, indicating that it's pretty wet on the roadways, the snow not necessarily piling up, but it's been one of those situations where we've been tracking this snow level forecast, which has been bouncing around. Started off very early in the morning at 4,000 feet and then up to about 7,000 feet, coming down, heading into the overnight hours and Tuesday afternoon down to about 5,000 feet. Lots of changing conditions, and that's sometimes very hard to navigate in the higher elevations, not knowing what to expect. Our winter storm warning continues until 4 a.m. on Wednesday. I would suspect that the National Weather Service may indeed pull that back just a little bit, depending on how quickly things clear out of the Sierra. Right now, it looks like it's going to wind down by the time we get to tomorrow evening. Winter weather advisory as well north of I-80 and through Tuesday afternoon. So we're already starting to see some of these scale back just a little bit in terms of the time frame, how long they're continuing. A look at the bigger satellite and radar perspective and this weather system that's impacting us right now. The low just kind of driving in some of the colder precipitation is just up to the north of the capital region, whereas to the south, we still have that warmer sector of the storm coming in, that atmospheric river hitting Southern California. It hasn't been quite as powerful as what we saw with the last one coming through last week, but still dropped some decent rain since midnight. About 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch throughout the Central Valley. Still seeing those rain totals go up for San Francisco, now up to 3/10 of an inch. Closer to 1/4 of an inch for much of the foothills, but you can see noticeably that this particular line of storms has been hitting south of Highway 50 a little bit more than along that I-80 line. Pretty much what we were expecting here with this particular atmospheric river. So this is the last round of showers, and then we're going to start to dry things out. But in that time frame, before we start to see the drier weather, we've got continued changing mountain conditions topping our weather impact alert headlines. Holiday travel will soon follow. Some folks I know like to get a jump on things by Tuesday afternoon and evening, even for Wednesday. Wednesday being the busiest travel by road for California. Air travel, well, that's just hit and miss because you're dealing with the entire nation, which we'll take a look at. Tomorrow morning, we're seeing some areas of clearing from parts of the valley, but snow will continue to pile up overnight tonight through tomorrow. So tomorrow's still one of those days that we're going to have to deal with mountain snow as well as some spotty valley showers. Pretty much what we saw for today. We'll see a line of showers moving through for the morning commute, and then things will start to wind down here for the valley, lasting a little bit longer into the afternoon for the Sierra. So although the valley will start to clear out, Sierra will fall behind that a little bit into our Tuesday. Not much additional accumulation coming in, only about 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch for much of the valley. And then as we head a little bit higher in elevation, now about 4/10 of an inch to close to 1/2 an inch possible for parts of the foothills. Now, when we talk about snow totals, we'll still see coming in from Monday night through Tuesday, even into early Wednesday morning, another foot or so for Bear Valley. So along Highway 4, we're going to be dealing with some periods of dangerous travel there, getting up towards Bear Valley. Kirkwood, 9 inches of snow possible. And then in the 80-50 corridor from, say, Donner through Twin Bridges, about 5 to 7 inches additional accumulation. Again, we've seen kind of a mixed bag come in for the Sierra. Now it looks like we'll start to pull in some of that colder air and we'll get more snow than, say, rain in the high country. Atmospheric river, the future moisture really starting to wind down here into Wednesday. We're already starting to see some of that pull back. So kind of that fire hose that's been aimed at California is finally starting to change its trajectory and move back towards the Pacific. It'll still be kind of out there, but we just don't have a driver to pull that in heading into the rest of the week. So finally starting to see some drying and clearing on Wednesday as we take a look at that timeline for the holiday week. Tuesday, still a weather impact alert day, simply because we'll see the valley showers in the morning, but then for the valley, we'll call that to end for the afternoon. It will linger, though, for the Sierra with our snow level down to 5,000 feet. By the evening, everybody's starting to clear out, and that's what leads us to Wednesday with the drying and clearing. Now, with no cloud cover out there and the air mass already starting to cool, Thanksgiving and Friday, even into the holiday weekend, we've got areas of morning frost. I know it's one of those situations where you want to get out for the run or walk, or perhaps just even get the kids out of the house after having them home all week off school. Just be prepared. Kind of cold to get started. It will be beautiful for the afternoon. It's just when you see I'll look at these lows, it is going to be quite crisp, especially Thursday, Friday. We're looking at lows right around 35 to 37 degrees. A little bit warmer Saturday and Sunday, but not by much. We're still in the 30s for the Central Valley. Average lows are in the lower 40s. This is going to put us about 5 to almost 7 degrees below that. It is nice to get a break from the precipitation. When we look at the raw numbers, it's very clear that we had the biggest rainfall in Northern California, because this is just accounting since October 1st, the beginning of the water year. It's been fairly dry for Southern California, despite the fact we've seen periods of showers. It just hasn't been that huge drenching rain like Northern California had last week going into the beginning of the weekend. So in terms of where we are, departure from normal, San Francisco, Sacramento, Redding, Eureka, we're all above average right now. South Lake Tahoe a little bit behind, but we are seeing some areas in the Sierra that are running at or above what they usually see in snowfall, which is always nice because that provides about a third of our water supply during the dry season. Average monthly rainfall typically picks up right about now. We get through November and we really ramp up the average total rainfall December, January, and February. Those are our wettest 3 months, and they account for nearly 50% of our precipitation for the year. But November has been an outlier for 2024 because we've had 3.7 inches of rain in the month of November. So far, we're going to add a little bit more to that for downtown Sacramento. So that's going to put us above our average of what we usually see in December, just a little bit below our wettest month on average of January. Our rain totals, now this is going to take into account the first atmospheric river that came through with the biggest totals for Northern California. Downtown Sacramento had almost 3 inches of rain, over 2.5 for Sacramento Executive. Friday being the wettest day, it was a record setter for both downtown Sacramento and Sacramento Executive with nearly 2 inches of rain. Stockton picked up 1.25 inches and Modesto shy of 1 inch, but all in all, not a bad November storm. Snow totals equally as impressive. Over the 4-day period, Boreal got almost 4 feet of snow. About 2 feet for Sierra Tahoe, Palisades, Tahoe, and then North Stars, some of which those ski resorts are open, as you can see with our rundown here. Mammoth, Mount Rose, Heavenly, North Star, Sugar Bowl, Palisades, Tahoe, and Boreal are open for business and ready to welcome in all the folks that have this week off or even into the Thanksgiving weekend. Sierra Tahoe, we're opening on November 29th, and then Kirkwood will be December 6th. So our major reservoir supply levels. People really like to keep track of this. I know we've been getting questions. Okay, how is this doing for the reservoirs? Well, reservoirs are built for both flood protection and water supply. So this is the time where it becomes a real delicate balance because we're early in the season. Water can be let out right now. It doesn't necessarily have to be let out because we don't have huge amounts of snow piled up in the Sierra for a rain event to come in and make that runoff into the reservoir. So the water managers can play around just a little bit more with capacity levels here, whereas deeper into the season, say January and February, then we start talking about, whoa, we're near capacity and we still have all that snow to melt and fill these reservoirs. So right now, we're still running above average for almost every reservoir here. Oroville and Shasta being our 2 biggest, and then Trinity not too far behind there, quite large as well. Folsom's the smaller reservoir, is only about 35% full. But again, that feeds more the capital region around Sacramento and some of the surrounding communities there on the east side of the valley. it just is a little bit more tenuous in terms of how full they can keep that, because if there develops a big storm, they have to start letting out water pretty quickly into the American River. Our water supply here for New Melones, Don Pedro also above average, as well as Millerton, San Luis. Now that's an off-stream pumped water reservoir. What's nice about that? Lots of flexibility, because we can either keep water in, pump it out, put it into the California aqueduct, and send that down south for folks that need it there. Oroville runoff impacts. As you can see, our current status here is 1.8 million acre feet. Now, the total capacity is way up here, 3.4 million acre feet. What I would like to point out, though, is in the teal color, or aqua, I should say, that's going to be our average of what we usually see. Last year, we ran almost directly in line with that, but above what we usually see. So it was nice to see that on a second year round here of above normal conditions. So they start letting water out, it starts filling back up, and it'll kind of be this up and down pattern here that water managers will kind of play with that water supply. I just pointed out this one because I did see some pretty dramatic rises on it. So I was just curious to see how that was looking. And we're still below what we were 2023-24. Plenty of capacity, no real risk there. But it's a beautiful reservoir. It's actually the highest dam in the country as well. And then the spillway has been completely retrofitted to make sure that it's up to grade for the amount of water flow that could be coming in. So it's really pretty surrounding area there along the Feather River. Satellite and radar, well, the low that's driving in the atmospheric river to the north, that's what's going to head in. It's going to drop those temperatures as well as drop the snow levels. It's got colder air associated with it, and it's going to kind of push this line of moisture down to the south a little bit more. So we're going to lose the rain impacts for Northern California and pick up a little bit for Southern California. Nothing that's going to stick around a long period of time, though. By Thanksgiving Day, our highs much warmer down south, say up north. We're going to be in the 50s for Redding, Sacramento, and Eureka. 60 for San Francisco. 41 for South Lake Tahoe. If you're doing some skiing up there, should be absolutely stunning. 58 for Fresno as we make our way southward here. Monterey 62, Santa Barbara 65, and then farther south we're getting into the mid 60s to right around the low to mid 70s. A little bit cool, but nothing extreme here into our Thursday. It's just we've got that cold air mass over us, so all of us feeling a little bit colder than, say, our average temperatures. Here's a look at Tuesday. Now, again, as I mentioned, as that cold low starts to move in, we're going to see snow levels dropping. For the Sierra, we'll see the rain showers ending for the Sacramento Valley and parts of the northern San Joaquin Valley. Once we head south, we're still going to be dealing with rain. Snow continues along 395 for around Mammoth and Yosemite, and then it will start to wind down heading into the overnight hours into Wednesday. So Wednesday's a dry day for almost all of us throughout California. Thursday as well, we'll see a little bit of patchy fog and frost, but outside of that, really stunning conditions throughout the state. On the cooler side, yes, but we don't have huge travel impacts with the like atmospheric river like what we had last week, where we just saw flooding issues as well as snow issues in the Sierra. Saturday, still a good travel day. Periods of some cloud cover coming through. I will say we'll watch out for the fog. That can be dangerous just as much as, say, a big rain event. So Saturday, Sunday could see some foggy conditions, especially in low-lying areas along I-5, Highway 99, just kind of traveling up and down north and south from the state. Beyond that, we're really going to stay in a largely drier pattern. So for Thanksgiving holiday travel, for driving, the best time being Thanksgiving morning, not only because of sheer volume on the road, but also our weather conditions. The worst time is going to be Tuesday evening into Wednesday. And again, we're going to see that rain band shift its way southward Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. So not only dealing with the amount of people on the roads, but also the weather conditions if you're headed down to SoCal. Holiday travel flying, well, the best time is going to be Thanksgiving morning and Sunday morning, although I did hear that some places were saying because of the air traffic control issues and because of weather, Sunday's going to be kind of gnarly out there. Worst time is going to be all day Wednesday. So if you have a ticket for Wednesday, I guess you just are packing your patience, you put on comfy clothes and a lot of snacks and get ready to be delayed for a lot of the air traffic. National highs, things are looking good across the West Coast, albeit dry and cold. Will be even colder through the Intermountain West. Billings a high of 25 on Thanksgiving Day. Denver only at 38. Warmer as we head through the Sunshine State. Orlando and Miami and Florida will be in the low 80s. Ooh, that looks fantastic if you're going to Disney World. And then for the Great Lakes, we're dealing with cool conditions as well. What's going to be it's going to be kind of iffy there if your travel plans take you through or to, let's say, the Chicagoland area. Could be seeing a mixed bag of precipitation kind of on that rain-snow line, which could delay some travel out of O'Hare. Denver's going to be the hot spot here for tomorrow for travel. Could find some delays there. And then we'll start to see that shift ever so slightly on Wednesday. Still dry for Chicago and Boston into New York, but then that shifts on Thanksgiving Day. And this is what I was saying. They were right on that line here. That could be some tough travel. Friday, we get some rain through the Sunshine State, more snow for the Great Lakes and parts of New England. And then for Saturday, things are looking pretty dry here across the West. We'll still get some upper Great Lakes snow coming in on Saturday with that cold pocket of air moving through. And you can see we're going to stay in that likely cooler weather pattern throughout the eastern half of the country, whereas finally the West Coast is starting to see some likely warmer and drier conditions after being stuck in a cold and wet pattern for about the past 2.5 weeks. Highs for tomorrow in the 30s for this year. Again, we're looking at areas of snow, 40s and 50s down the hill, and areas of rain continue until about the midday hour. 50s along the coast, we'll see clearing earlier, right around the upper 50s to low 60s throughout the Central Valley for tomorrow. Chance of some early morning showers, and then things start to clear out for the afternoon. So a look at our mountain forecast. We got those snow flurries coming in for tomorrow, and then they'll wind down by the time we get to Wednesday. Highs only in the 30s, morning lows in the teens, and then we'll be back into the 40s for the weekend. For the foothills, we're going to see some morning showers and then drying out. Highs will be in the 50s for the holiday weekend. And for the coast, we'll see highs near 60 with mostly clear skies. Some patchy morning fog, but outside of that, should see some sunshine in there as well. Last hours of our weather impact alert after several days dealing with two big atmospheric rivers hitting California, the biggest of which was last week. By Thanksgiving Day, we are going to be clear during the afternoon, highs in the mid-50s, but we've got 35 degrees to start us off, 37 Friday morning. By the weekend, morning lows in the 30s, afternoon highs starting to climb back near 60. We'll see some 60s in there for next week.